Hey everyone, it's Book of Katherine, and it is time to talk. Let's talk about being nice. Why do we need to talk about being nice? And do I think it's a big deal? Can you tell? I think it's a big deal. I think it's probably one of the biggest deals of our time. I'd like to thank you at Politico for making sure that I did this video, because without you, I wouldn't have done it. Thank you. All right, let's talk about being nice. Why? Because everyone, and I mean everyone, and I do mean everyone, is telling you, isn't it better to be nice? If you had a choice between being right and being kind, be kind. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. John Boehner once said, there's absolutely nothing to lose by saying something nice. Yes, there is. Yes, there freaking is. Yes, there is. People, let me tell you something. There is something to lose by being nice. Let me remind you, who are the only people in history who ever told a group of people, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, talk quietly, sit, be shh, 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 shh. Who's the only ones that ever did that? That said, be polite. Be polite, be polite, be polite. Yes, massa. No massa. That's the plantation owners. And if you don't think that it's the wealthy owners, the capitalists at the very top of the food chain, who own the mass media, who own NBC, AP, Reuters, check every one of your stories. Check every single one of your news stories. And Reuters, AP, owned by one of the people who started the Federal Reserve World Bank. Oops. And who do they support? It ain't the Republicans. Oh, no, baby. It ain't the Republicans. No, they support the Democrats. The same Democrats who are telling you, shh, 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 be nice now, you hear? Shh, 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 be nice now, you hear? Be nice now. Say yes, massa. Say no, massa. You know why they're telling you to do that? Because that's exactly how they see you. That's exactly how they see you, as slaves. Read Agenda 21. You think they talk about depopulating equals? Are you kidding me? They talk about depopulation when they're talking about livestock, people. Oh, no. We are heading on over into the world of Hunger Games. Oh, no. They're not going to do Hunger Games over here where they're going to have us come together and do a live televised event. But you go ahead and you look at that Agenda 21 plan that we went ahead and laid out. And that's right. Are we getting speeding trains? Are we getting speeding trains like in the Hunger? Oh, that's right, we are. And that's right. Do they not want us going out onto our own land? Can't imagine why they don't want us saying anything that wouldn't sound nice while they're rounding us up. Not to mention the fact that everyone who's actually saying, be nice, be nice, be nice, be nice, are the absolute worst offenders of civilized talk and civilized conversation on the planet. And let me give you something else. Oh, let me give you something else. Let me give you something else in this moment. Do you know what be nice is meant for? Do you think be nice, the term of be kind, if you had a choice between being right and being kind, always choose kindness? Who does that work on? Do you think that works on narcissists? No. Psh, no. That doesn't work on narcissists. You know who that works on? Nice, sweet women. People who really, really work hard to be respectful of one another. The people who are working so hard to be civilized. I am not kidding when I tell you to go listen to debates at the European Union. You go ahead and you listen to Nigel Farage and hear what they say back to him. And what do they always say back to him? Can you just be a little nicer? Can you just be a little bit more respectful? Can you be a little more nicer? As he's the only one talking about democracy while they vote down democracy over and over and over. And what do they do when they leave that room? What do they do when they leave that room? They go boat riding with billionaire George Soros. I'm sorry, did you not know that he created the European Union? That he planned it out and charted it out with one goal in mind? To devalue the dollar so that the U.S. would eventually fall, so that they could have a centralized government. Europe was just a road bump on the way to take us down. Why do you think they don't want Britain leaving? Did you think there were still countries? There aren't still countries. You keep wondering why migration keeps happening when the people are getting raped and murdered at triple times the rates. You know why? Because the people don't own their own votes anymore. You know who has the votes? Oh, I'll link it right here. Guess who's one of the presidentes? Oh, this is good. Audi. Fascinating stuff. So you be aware of who's telling you to be nice. In fact, I'll show you. I will show you. You want to do a show and tell? Let's do a show and tell. Let's do movie magic show and tell, shall we? Of what there is to lose by being nice. Movie magic time. Let's do it. And we are back. And I look like myself again. Plus, I am trying to be more Western as I can be. You know, I just watched that Caroline Herrera, I believe it is Caroline Herrera, and I watched her sunglass commercial, and it was so nice to see a sunglasses commercial where it wasn't just thick black rims all the time. Thick black rims is all we see. And I noticed with those thick black rims, it really drove me nuts because they've been selling them for about 20 years now. And did you notice that it made everybody look the same? I couldn't tell the difference between anyone. And I'm just like, oh, strategy, marketing. I was like, I can't tell the difference between you and you and you because the glasses just took up so much of their face and their facial features. And I was like, look, she's actually using color. She's actually showing things. And then I looked down and I realized, all four models, their hair are pulled back, and all four models are actually not wearing any makeup. They're just wearing a single red lip, and all four models are covered up to here, up to here, up to here. And if they're not, they're wearing a full-on blouse that goes down to their wrist with just a little bit here. And they're like, oh, we'll show a little bit like we have to prove that we're Western. But I'm like, no, no, no. No, no, no. Every one of those things conforms. I was like, trying to look like you don't conform, but don't piss off the other people that have been paying you a lot of money to only make us conform to their way. I was just like, wow, four models, and not one of them had their hair down, not one. Not one of them had more makeup on than like I had more makeup. I am wearing more makeup than all of them. Like their sunglasses had more color than any of their faces. Like, you know, it was just amazing to me. It was really amazing to me. All had the exact same it was just fascinating. I was just like, right, minimalism. Like we've been in minimalism for how long? You know, you can only go and hide behind that before you start, you know, we start figuring things out. Anyway, let's move on because, you know, being nice, that's also part of both of those religions. Women are supposed to be nice, right? They're not supposed to be heard from. Shh, you do know that. We're supposed to keep our eyes down, not look up. No eye contact with a man. No, no, no. Keep your eyes down. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The women were doing that. They had their eyes down. Gosh, I'm going to have to start learning more so I can see it in the advertising, because how dare I not look him in the eyes? Or how dare I not, you know what I mean. Moving on, it is time for Gone with the Wind. That's right, we are doing Gone with the Wind. You know why we're doing Gone with the Wind? Because in Gone with the Wind, which was made all the way back in 1939, and it is amazing that we are almost 100 years past, 100 years past Gone with the Wind, and we have to look to it to learn. We have to look to it to learn how to be a woman again. Maybe even how to be a man again. You know why? Let's see, shall we? There were two characters in Gone with the Wind, and I read the book. Don't get on me. I will get into that. I read the book. There were two characters in Gone with the Wind. There were two women, and the two women were in love with the same man. And guess who the man picked? As it always goes, he picked the nice one. It always goes that way. And I grew up thinking, this is the one. This is the one I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be Melanie Hamilton. Melanie Hamilton. Now, luckily, Olivia de Havilland did not just play Melanie Hamilton. No, no, no. There was another movie I watched her in. Oh, ho, ho. And she played a role. Oh, my goodness. She played a role that was taking place way before the Civil War, which, by the way, if you guys didn't read my research, the Democrats started in order to keep their slaves. They kind of like that slave mentality. So when you hear be nice, it's in their heritage. They can't help it. It's who they are. The elites. It's in their blood. But there was this movie called Robin Hood that took place so long ago, and she was in that movie. But even in that movie, clips like this, she was so much sexier. Do you see that look on her face? Look at that look on her face. Do you see it? She just looks like such a firecracker. And she was. She played Maid Marian. And don't let that dress fool you. I know it covers her up. And I know you might be thinking, well, she looks like she is conforming to Sharia law. Except that, oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. She's leaning out a window in the middle of the night and kissing a man she ain't married to. Oh, no, no, no. You know what that gets you under Sharia law? You get set on fire. But I would like to let you see anyone has the right to slaughter you. You know, they just kind of bury you under the porch. Happens all the time. Google likes to erase those. For some reason, they erase the ones that happen in India. Why is that, Google? Why is that, YouTube? Why is it that you let the British crimes of honor play, but the ones in India, and the ones in Pakistan, and the ones in Afghanistan, those are the ones you erase? Are those women different? Do their stories not deserve to be heard? So see that dress? It's actually a frickin' slinky dress. It shows off her features. Boom, boom, boom. It is so, all of them, it's like Lycra and it's like boom, and she's giving that look the whole time. Like, so amazing in that role, and very, very empowering for me as a young girl. Like, especially going to be a dancer one day. Like, not that kind of dancer, but you know, I was going to be a dancer as ballroom champion. So, oh my goodness, like, she's just so, anyway, so absolutely phenomenal. And I'm very, very grateful that I got to see that. And I must have been like, it must have called out to the dancer me, seeing that Lycra, the shiny Lycra. Anyway, back to this girl. This girl, Melanie Hamilton. She was the nice girl. So, so nice. And Ashley, his name was Ashley. That's just the way it was in the South. Look at that. Isn't that the picture of what was it again they want us to be? What? What is it that Politico told us to be? And Twitter? But if you can't, what Raven Simone, she told us to be it too. She told Ann Coulter, if you can't say something nice, that's right, don't say it at all. Isn't that the picture of that? Interesting that they only say that to people who have the 90% range of political beliefs other than communism. Fascinating. Oh, here's another one. Look at that. Oh, the picture of freedom. Ah, just gets me all going. Oh, yeah. Just, I mean, really look at that. I am not kidding. Look at that. Look at how nice she looks. That's what they want you to be. Remind you of any religions that ask you to be tolerant of them? Interesting they're not tolerant of you. Interesting that they don't tolerate your ways. They don't tolerate your alcohol. They don't tolerate your hours. And they don't tolerate your woman. Are you hearing me, Europe? And here is the best picture of all. This just says it all. This is how Miss Melanie Hamilton, the character of Miss Melanie Hamilton, oh, Ashley. That is how she looks at her man. Hey, look at that. Worth 50% of that of a man. Just like Sharia law says. She's so nice. Oh. But you know which one reminds me of me and my husband? That one. Because when I grew up, I had a choice to make. It was a really, really, really pivotal choice in my life. I really struggled because my communities wanted me to be nice. I suffered under great peer pressure. My family wanted me to be nice. And being nice meant that I couldn't say what I thought. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm made a little differently. And I can't help it. I just have a lot of thoughts. But see, the founders of our country, they knew we were all made a little differently. And so they built a system that would help every single one of us grow that. Kind of like the heroine of Gone with the Wind. That's what she did. she had to figure out who she was. It wasn't anything like where she was born. She was born into this. When she was really like this inside. And that's not to say that it's bad to be this. Because I read the book. And you know what I learned in the book? In the book, it said that Scarlett O'Hara was jealous of Melanie because they were married and she was still in love with Ashley, the husband. So she stole into the letters between Ashley and Melanie. And I'll never forget it because she said she couldn't understand it. The letters were like so above her way of thinking, like they were so, and it was so well written, but the reader could understand. What it meant is that they were almost like metaphysical. It was like Jordan Peterson writing. They thought like giants in the sky. And sometimes people like that, they're here. And it never fully comes out to their body. They don't want to. They don't need to. It never fully pushes out. It never expands into their skin. They're not even looking to the clothing. And they're just comfortable with what they're raised in. Or maybe that is the dress that they're comfortable in. Everybody's made differently. Everybody's made differently. And those clothes fit her. She was born into what fit her. But the heroine wasn't. And all of us were. Our country, you know, Scarlett O'Hara, the heroine, she was born into the South run by Democrats. And they tell us that it was run by Republicans. And they lie. Tell us that the KKK was all Republicans. And now it's so funny because now when I look at the woman now in our own American society. And I never noticed it before. But the people who have left the left, they're more free to look like this. Why is that? Why does it take leaving the left to finally expand? Like this. This isn't nice. But Gone with the Wind didn't sell and break box office records. Because of her. It broke box office records because of her. And not because she was scandalous or rude. Because she couldn't help being herself. And because she was impetulant and immature, really immature. But then she had to grow up. Like, really grow up. Her house was raided and raped. And she made it work. You know what this is? Is that her looking magnificent? No. That's her wearing curtains that she put together because she had to make a sale. She lived in a time where men ran things and women didn't have the vote. But she had mouths to feed and people who depended on her. She had what today would be called a business, or people would die. And she just tore down the curtains, the only cloth that were made, and she made it into a dress, and she made it work, and she went out there and she proudly wore it, and no one knew the difference. And she went on and ended up marrying somebody else that was much more her, though she didn't understand it. She really didn't understand it because society told her that she needed that other guy on the white horse instead of an equal. That's so dangerous when we listen to what society tells us. But when she expanded and had her business on the ground, look at what she'd wear. Do you see this? I mean, the audacity. Her name's Vivian Leigh, by the way, or Vivian Lee. Do you see that? The birds? She wears them. They don't wear her. What woman can do that today? That's so rare. But you know why Gone with the Wind really sold? You think it's because she was an impetuous child that got spoiled and then had to grow up? Because today we have plenty of spoiled kids. No, Gone with the Wind did well because she was spoiled and then she had to grow up. And she did. She did. Because she had a choice to make. We see it all the time on fail videos when people fall. Nowadays, they just lay there. They just lay there and give up. Unless one of their friends slams their head down and they pass out, which I just can't watch fail videos anymore. It's so hard. But to see friends laughing at each other instead of worrying about one another, you know? But she had a moment where she was crying because she thought she'd lost everything. And no one was around and everyone was killed. And then she had to eat dirt to survive. And then she made a choice. She made a choice to stand up. And that's when she changed. And she said, I'll never go hungry again. I'll never, ever go hungry again. And let me tell you, that's when the movie sold. And this is that moment. When she looked up and she had determination. And I want you to notice that her hair's down and the light is shining behind her and she isn't covered. And she makes the decision to go against every single rule in society and till the land with her own hands. And oh, they're angry with her because she wasn't nice. Because how dare she touch the ground with her hands? And every woman in the world wanted to be her. Politicians, journalists, citizens, mayors, statesmen, managers, and CEOs. No one ever tells you to be nice unless they want to take you from this to this. It's what's called a shaming term, a shaming technique. If you read the Michelle Bachmann letter from 2012, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said that if you guys didn't go along, oh, you know, we'll just harass and shame them into doing it anyway. Do you know what that meant? Shame you into doing it? That meant going to the nice people and saying, be a little bit more tolerant. Be a little bit more peaceful. Put down your sword and stop fighting while I'm sticking this massive sword into your side. Civilization. Civilization doesn't have the word nice in it. You will not find it in the words of the founders of democracy. You will only find it in the words of the slaves and their masters. If you decide to take on the covering of tolerance, you take on the covering of shame. Do not forget the woman in Sweden who fought for immigrant rights, who was an activist on their part, and it meant nothing as she visited their asylum in Sweden, where they raped her both vaginally and anally. Because no matter how tolerant you are of them, they have beliefs that determine they are not to be tolerant of you. Civilization depends upon mutual respect. It also depends upon wisdom and knowing thine enemy. Do you think anyone in the European Union doesn't know about the third jihad? Do you think any of them don't know about the Muslim Brotherhood? Do you think any of them don't know that this was in the plan way, way back in 2001? What do you think they met about with the bankers on Wall Street just a few months before with the Bushes? You should do your homework. They should do. They do their homework on you. They know your buttons. They play them hard. They say, oh, Christians, they like to be so nice. They like to be so forgiving. Let's keep pushing the shame button, the shame. You should be all these things. But you know what? I got a little insight for you. You keep caving in. You keep caving in. London, UK, LA. Let me tell you, baby cakes, you keep caving in because you think one day they're going to like you. You should really read the websites because their websites say it loud and clear. Western civilization must fall. It must be corrupted from the inside out. And when it falls, only Islam will stand. And then the infidels will fall. They will be slaughtered in the streets. Anyone who drinks. Anyone who drinks. Any woman who doesn't submit to the laws. Who doesn't cover her hair. Who doesn't get married to a man with 12 wives. Who isn't okay with her daughters being raped because they marry their children at 8. It's time for you not to be nice. It's time for you to be wise. Just like Miss Scarlett O'Hara did. You know why? Because this girl, the nice girl, in the movie, she dies. When childbirth came, her body couldn't handle the pain. This little lady, nothing could destroy her from within. I'm Book of Katherine. I hope you join me on Twitter. Please share this video because the rich and the powerful are using the word nice and kindness to kill. If they were burning books, would you know about it? They did a grand jury on Hillary Clinton. Did you know about it? It's time to wake up. Let's share this one. Peace out, guys. I love you. And I'm so grateful that you love me for finding my way into Scarlett O'Hara land and out of Melanie Hamilton.